It's the anniversary year of the Air Jordan 4s, but I'm telling you straight that the Air Jordan 12s have stolen all of their limelight this year. We're going to be looking at the Nike Air Jordan 12 Reverse Taxi today, and we're going to be asking, why does this shoe represent why the 12s have outshone the 4s in their anniversary year? This is the Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel, Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel des. Mainichi Absuno de Mainichi Mita Kunsai. Every single day I bring you content from Tokyo, Japan about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news and sneaker reviews, and a little bit about the butter movement. But that butter movement stuff always comes at the end of the video, and we focus on the sneakers first. And the sneakers that we're looking at is the Reverse Taxi, the Air Jordan 12's Reverse Taxi. The taxis themselves are an iconic looking sneaker. They sell really well. Now 12s do not usually sell all that well on the resale market, let's be honest, and I know this because I've looked, but also I know because my videos don't get many hits, and I wonder how many views this video is going to get. Maybe not so many, but I don't really mind that because I review the shoes that I like and am interested in, not necessarily the shoes that are going to get me views and watch time. But if you are interested in helping the channel out and giving me those views and watch time, please do, because it is very important and it helps the channel grow. And as this is a YouTube channel, we say at the start of every single video that we do, we YouTubers, please hit subscribe down below and help the channel to grow. And as I am here in Tokyo, Japan, I do say that in Japanese, and it goes something like this. Toroku yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Shita no toroku button o click suru to tasukaru no de zehi. Toroku yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Okay, now without further ado, let's get into this and have a look at these reverse taxis. As I said, I personally believe that the 12s have stolen the light off of the 4s this year, and there are reasons for that, and I'll get into those reasons later on. But first we want to actually have a look at these reverse taxis and see what's going on. Now first, right off the bat, starting large, big, conceptually, looking at the whole shoe, I'm not a fan of the name reverse taxis on these because they aren't a reverse of the taxis. They're a sort of semi-reverse of the taxis, and that's most evident on the mud guards at the front. Now the taxis, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it was a white sneaker with black detailing on there, and that was most obvious on these 12s around the mud guards, those iconic 12 mud guards that come up around the sort of front area of the sneaker. Now it was a white sneaker with those black kind of mud guards on there. Now the reverse taxis are a black sneaker, but they've kept the mud guards in black, and that's an important sort of feature of the shoe. I think it is a good looking shoe. I think if they'd made the mud guards white, it would have looked a little bit silly. It would have been a bit of overkill. So I say yes to the colorway. I do like it. I do like that black colorway of the black mud guards on the white mid/outsole, but I think it's a little bit cheeky calling it reverse taxi because it's not quite a perfect reverse of the taxis. So I'm going to go ahead and call these the semi-reverse taxis. Now speaking of those mud guards, that's probably my favorite feature on these sneakers, that kind of snakeskin effect, but it's not really in your face snakeskin effect. It's a very black mud guard and mud guard area, shall we say, on these sneakers, and the snakeskin effect is imprinted on that. It's not a case of taking the mudguard and then lasering or detailing the snakeskin effect, and that's really important. I know it doesn't sound important, but it is actually really important that they've imprinted the snakeskin onto the material rather than lasered it on or etched it on or embossed it on or whatever you want to say about that kind of stuff, because what it does is it creates a uniform look, and you have to zoom in and kind of have a real close look up to see that snakeskin effect, and I like that. I don't really like it when the effects like the snakeskin effects and things like that are in contrast to the material that they're on, either through the material that they are themselves, for example, embossed on there, or through it's not embossed, is it? No, I can't think straight. It's not embossed, it's when they stitch it on there, and I can't think of the right word for stitching it on there, but lasered on there as well would not be the same as the material below. So I really like the mud guards on here and how they have that snakeskin effect, and I think it is actually embossed in there instead of being lasered on, or I can't think of the word that I'm looking for to say that it's stitched in there. I bet it comes back to you in the middle of the video. But anyway, keep it on with looking at these sneakers and staying with that large sort of look at these guys here. It's important. Here I am in Japan, the land of the rising sun. I have to give a nod to the basic design of these sneakers. The idea behind those sort of panels that come out of the midfoot area like that is it's supposed to represent the rising sun. These are Japan-inspired sneakers, the basic 12. I'm not talking about the colorway, I'm talking about the 12s themselves. They're inspired by Japan, the land of the rising sun. And here I am in Japan, so I have to give nod to that and maybe say in Japanese something along the lines of Air Jordan 12 のデザインは日本のインスパイアということかな、日本とつなげることなので、ぜひこの Air Jordan 12のことを調べて、日本の関係あるから、ぜひその Air Jordan 12のことをもうちょっと詳しく調べて、そのナイキと日本のくっつくこと組むことなのでぜひ調べてください。So yeah, they are linked to Japan. There is a connection there to Japan and that sort of rising sun motif on there. On that upper. Now looking at some of the details that I like about this sneaker, I particularly like the red on black effect with that red Jumpman up on the tongue there, on the black tongue there. But then when you go around to the heel, you've got a red 23 that goes, is imprinted on the outsole, which is wrapping around and coming up from the back, from the outsole, it's coming up onto the heel of the sneaker there. And that red on black or red on white, I think is a cool effect. It looks really good. In fact, when I look at the heels of these things, I wrote in my research that this is, it looks like a bread heel, and I know they're not going for a bread effect on these guys, but it does look like a bread heel when you look at the reds, the blacks and the whites all sort of mixing together on the back end of these sneakers. And up there on the tongue where it's black and red, I appreciate that too. I think it's pretty cool. And then right beside the tongue you've got one of the signature details of 12s, and in particular the reverse taxis and the taxis, the gold top two eyelets on there, which are in contrast to the rest of the eye stays, which are that kind of flush. Now I think the 12s, these 12s are sleek. They look really sleek, and they look sleek because of the combination between those mud guards and the upper, and then the lacing system itself. All of that is kind of very sleek, and it really reminds me of the LeBron 17 Lakers. I talked about how sleek they looked, and that kind of uniform effect that comes across the upper and the lacing system. And I really wish, I think they missed a beat. I really wish what they'd done with these 12s, with these reverse taxi 12s, is the laces. The laces are wrong. If you really have a look, I'm sure I'm throwing it up behind me here. If you have a look at those laces, they're a kind of pipe lace or a round kind of cylindrical lace, for want of a better effect, very rounded effect, and you can see them kind of bubbling up off of the lacing system there. And I'm sure I've put the Lakers, LeBron 17 Lakers behind me here, and you can see how flat those laces are. They're flat across the lacing system, and that kind of makes that sleek effect from upper lacing system, laces, lacing system, upper, very sleek effect across the top of the sneaker. And I think they could have done something like that here and made that the top of these 12s sleek across the laces, but with that kind of piping style of lacing on there, I think they've got laces that sort of stand out from the shoe instead of blend in with it. And I think a sleek effect on these guys would have been cooler than those piping laces on them. But keep it on going with some of the features that I like about these guys. I love the red Jumpman that peeks out from the front of the toe area, that comes up on the toe, out of the outsole and the toe of these guys. I'm a huge fan of little details that come in on sneakers, and that little Jumpman peeking out from below on there. I love the 23 on the outsole that's just sort of nestling in there, in gold as well, which I think is a really cool motif. They could have easily gone with red, white, or black for that little panel on there, but I love the fact that they've gone for the gold, which matches the midfoot of the midfoot of the outsole, where you can see through the carbon fiber, which has also got detailing in gold to match those eye stays from above, which is really cool. It's very for me, it's one of the main features of the sneakers, how they subtly get the gold in there as well, and I really appreciate it. I think it's one of the coolest elements of these sneakers. Now, sticking with that outsole there, you can see it is mainly a white outsole with the look through to the carbon fiber, and that red Jumpman on the front, and then the hits of yellow as well in there, which is I think they've got it right. They've balanced the colours really well. I think it looks really good. Now, going back though to what I said before, I said I think that the 12s have outshone the 4s this year, which is a pretty well, it's not a big statement to make, but it's a pretty big thing that you're saying that in the anniversary year of the 4s that a different Jordan is coming through stronger, and the 12s are. The recent, I think it was. It wasn't University Blue, was it? That's going to bug me what they were called, but the blue and black 12s that came out looked great. But the place that I want to compare, you know, the blue and black 12s look great. I can't remember what they're called. Were they University Blue? And in contrast to that, the worst 4s that came out this year, in my opinion, were the Flyknit 4s, which I thought were absolutely stinking. I really hated the Flyknit 4s. They went against my principles for sneakers all over. So that's the contrast here. But a good place to contrast with 12s and 4s is the World Cup of basketball, the FIBA World Cup of basketball. There were two, well, there were more than two, but there were 4s released for that, and there were 12s released for that. The 12s were really, really clean, a really clean sneaker, but the 4s missed the boat. There were too much detail on it. They tried to do too much, and that was the problem with most of the 4s this year, is that they tried to do too much, whereas the 12s, they kind of knew their lane, they stayed in their lane, and they benefited from that. So these upcoming reverse taxis for me is another example of how the 12s have outshone the 4s, even though it's the anniversary year of the 4s. And that's about it. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover about these guys. They are a real sleek looking sneaker. The actual taxis still go for resale at $500 or $600, which is 3 times their retail value. These retail around about $190. I don't know if these reverses are going to have the same kind of impact. I think that's asking a little bit too much to expect these guys to resell at that much. But given the way that their predecessors or the originals sell well, I wouldn't be surprised if these guys sell a little bit above resale, but maybe retail, but maybe not hundreds of dollars, just tens of dollars above their retail price. Okay, and that being said, it's time to wrap up this video, but a quick nod to the butter movement people out there. Shoe Butter's doing his best to get me some content as much as possible. He said he was aiming for content once every 2 weeks, but I'm trying to get once every week out of him, and we'll see what we can get from Shoe Butter and the shoe department as soon as possible. Also, I'm going to throw in a few vlogs. I'm trying to vlog a little bit more so we can get a bit more variety in the content. I did say that we're trying to have a bit more innovation and variety about the stuff that we're doing at the channel these days. So look out for vlogs, and hopefully look out for weekly content from Shoe Butter. But for now, it's time for me to sign off. Thank you guys for checking out my content. I do appreciate it. I said at the top of this video, it's important that we get watch time going as well as subscribe. So if you've done those 2 things for me, I appreciate it very much. But for now, it's time for me to sign off. Thank you guys for checking out my content. I haven't come up with a better way to end my videos, so I'll just do what I do every single day, which is say that I do this every single day, and therefore you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.